because he remembers Vietnam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's surprising that my family was able to grow out of it. At least my dad.
I can't do it. I'm like, I can't. I don't need this shit. I don't need to. Cause like I'm the one who's like I never get assaulted by my relatives, but you know I've had relatives where that shit has gotten out of hand. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like seeing. I don't like having people messing with me about the shit. Um, but anyway, before we go any further, let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first, then the gentleman, and then we'll dive into the topics. Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the BS Busters End of the Week podcast for the first weekend of July. I am Joe Wright, Eli Moonstar, and we're going to be going at it pretty light. Besides, you probably already cooked something heavy today.
It's Kanoshi Abominito here to ask, what did all of you throw away your money on at the Steam sale this week?
Oh God, Steam got so. Actually, I didn't spend a lot of money on Steam. I'm being facetious.
Says the one that's a PC owner.
I paid like $15 and got all the Batman Arkham games and the Batman Telltale games. So,
are you sure you didn't rob a bank for that?
It was $15 is fair. I mean, Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year is great. Batman Arkham City Game of the Year is great. It came with Arkham Knight, which on PC is still a broken piece of shit. But I also got all the Batman Telltale games. So
I was asking that because I know that Warner Brothers has a history of not being nice to PCs.
Not entirely. It just Arkham Knight was broken on PC. Mortal Kombat 11 on PC is pretty good. 10 on PC is pretty good. 9 on PC is pretty good. Really, the only system where Warner Brothers Publishing kind of fucks people over is Nintendo. Like if you have the Wii version, the Wii U version of Lego Batman, it's fundamentally broken.
Yeah.
If you have the PC version of Lego City, I mean the Wii U version of Lego City, it's fundamentally broken. So yeah, I mean, really, if you're only a Nintendo gamer and that's the only console that you own is, and you get like Lego games published by Warner Brothers on that system, you're taking your I mean, I hate to put it this way, you're taking your life in your hands. But you know. Anyway, Kadoshi.
All I got was so far. I mean, there's one game that was obviously not on sale because it just came out. I picked up Legend of Mana. Yeah, that's a beautiful looking a game. I know it's a upscale of the PlayStation game, but
oh yeah.
I'm surprised I missed this one.
That game is proof positive that you don't need the best graphic. Like, you don't need to put tons and tons of money on, like, high-level graphics in order to make something look good.
The problem I have with that game so far is it doesn't really... Let's say I missed something. It doesn't really clarify where you should go.
No, it does not. I was about to tell you, you need to get a walkthrough before you start playing that game.
It just drops you into the world and...
Yes.
Figure it out.
And there's a certain way you have to basically put the little tiles down in the overworld to unlock new locations, that if you don't do it certain ways, you literally lock yourself off from other story paths. So that's why I'm saying, if you have that game on PC, you need a guide. You kind of need a walkthrough in order to really get the most out of it. It's one of the flaws of the game when it came out on the PlayStation back in the day.
Being so huge that you need a guide.
It's not really the size. It's just the game doesn't hold your hand. Like, don't let the cutesy aesthetics fool you. That game is very hardcore, despite its cutesy aesthetics. I mean, I'm not in love with the art style. I think the Mana games, to me, my first Mana game I played was Secret of Mana on the SNES. And I like that art style. And then after that, I played Secret of Mana 3, aka Seiken Densetsu 3, which is the sequel to Secret of Mana. And I played the translated ROM on the Super Famicom. And I mean, like, I like which is basically like a between the art style of the original Secret of Mana and the two stylized art style that you have on Secret of Mana, Legend of Mana. So
Yeah.
it's like the Legend of Mana's art style is gorgeous, but it's a little too cartoony for me. Even though playing the game, it's not cartoony. Like, ignore the aesthetic. That game can get hard as fuck, and a lot of shit is not explained to you, and it's kind of hard. It's tough. But the aesthetic is a little too cartoony for me. It's too much like the Game Boy Advance remake of the original Legend of Mana, called Mana Legend on the Game Boy Advance. Which the original the first Mana games on the Game Boy.
I was gonna make the joke that hopefully that game didn't water it down like Final Fantasy did.
No, it's a straight up remake. I mean, it's an upscaled remake. It's an upscaled remake. It's not a, you know. It's not like Final Fantasy VII.
I could see that because you come across talking plants and talking vegetables, like the character you come across because the Onion Knight. It's like, yeah, I could see why somebody would say, yeah, this is a bit too cartoony for me.
Well, no, it was just the art style. It wasn't really because I had played Legend of Mana on the Game Boy Advanced, which is the first game. It's the remake of the first game in the series that was on the Game Boy. So I mean, I've played what the game is based on. It's just like I've played the entire series up to that point. It's just like Legend of Mana took it a little bit too far. The fourth game in the series. It's like this art style is a step too far. Yeah, it's a step too far in that art style.
And the second game I got was Doom Eternal. I got the big giant deluxe edition for only $30. See, if you just wait, guys. If you just wait.
Yeah, don't buy that shit day one. Just anything. Yeah. This is for anything. Don't buy shit day one. The only company I would say it's worth your time to buy shit day one is if it's Nintendo, because very rarely does their shit go on sale. And what Nintendo calls sales for a lot of their games, it's not a sale. It's like it's a slight discount. It's not really on sale. Not like it was back in the day. Back in the day, if something sold over a certain amount, it would become a Nintendo Select, and it would go down to like $30 or $20. That was a sale. Nintendo's like, it's on sale. This $60 game is now $50. That's not a sale, bro. That's a slight discount. Okay.
Especially when your game sells like 10 million. It's like, it's okay to drop at half price every once in a while.
I understand you guys don't want to devalue your franchise, devalue your IP, but I'm an old Nintendo gamer, and I remember when you guys actually had sales. Like, I remember you could go, like, oh, this game sold over 1 million. It's a Nintendo Select. It's now $20-$30. So, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Oh, well, we can't devalue the IP. No, you're just fucking greedy. And look, you're a company. This is capitalism. You're trying to make money. And, capitalism, a company will get as much money as the market will bear. So as much as people will spend for it, that's what they're charging for it. So if people will accept a minor discount over, actual steep discounts back in the day that they had, then if people will spend, I'm just not going to do it. I refuse. Like, I was going to get No More Heroes 1 and 2 on the Switch, but on the Switch, No More Heroes 1 and 2 are like $40 a pop or $50 a pop. You know how much they were on PC? 20. 20 a piece. So why the fuck would I spend $50 when I could get it on PC for 20?
Yeah.
That's just called being smart with your money. But Anyway, so this is me, Mr. Red Fox, and today our podcast, the 4th of July podcast, is about freedom in games. So we're talking about games that gave us a sense of freedom, where we felt like, man, I can do whatever the hell I want. Games that really opened up that idea of I can go wherever I want, do whatever I want, in a way that you had never experienced before. So who wants to go first? Who wants to dive into that pool first?
This is a little tricky for me.
I would say, at least for me, Divinity Original Sin 2, I still gotta get back into that game. But the amount of freedom, in a sense, even though they shackle you at the beginning of the game with the neck brace, but the amount of freedom as it pertains to where you can go and the conversations that you can have and how their conversations can lead to other events, or affect other events that completely bar you out of different events if you do something wrong. I thought was incredible, and it just amazes me that stuff like Fallout, Bethesda's Fallout and their Morrowind games get so much credit for that sort of freedom.
But not really. Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
You can't. It's like you have so much freedom in the sense that you can be whatever you want, but you can't be everything.
Well, I mean, you can be everything, but to the detriment of everything else. It's like, I mean, I think we said this last podcast, like in Skyrim, you could be a major warrior, but you can also become the archmage of a school of magic, even if you have zero magic skill. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that? Or if you're a pure magic user, you can now be the leader of the premier fighter guild in the land. It's like, that makes that logically that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I enjoyed the amount of freedom, the amount of one of the things I was thinking about is all the writing that the writers had to do to and then think about what they were writing about and then logically connect those things together to so the game doesn't break.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I am a fan of games like that. I think the first game that kind of gave me that level of freedom was playing the Fallout games pre-Bethesda. Like playing like the shit like stuff like what's it called? Like Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout New Vegas. But the game that really that made freedom a huge thing for me, where I was like, okay, this is freedom on a scale that I've never experienced in a game before, was GTA San Andreas. That game right there. So, but they started upping the price. So I'm like, fuck you, I'm going with Xfinity. And Xfinity gave me a great deal until they started upping their prices. So I switched back to Fios. And, now, it's the last 2 or 3 days, for all of a sudden, my stuff just stops working. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I might have to call and complain. People keep on saying we don't need infrastructure. We definitely need infrastructure. But anyway, it just crapped out on me. Where did I cut out?
We were talking about GTA San Andreas.
Yeah. GTA San Andreas is the game that gave me the greatest amount of freedom because you could do so much stuff and not even touch the main story, and it was relevant and felt like you were progressing your character.
Hey, did your stream come back?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
The stream is back online. But yeah, like, that's the thing that kind of gets me. Where I'm kind of like weirded out by a lot of that a lot of people don't seem to understand is that especially like Vice City and San Andreas really did have you did have a real sense of freedom with what you could do and where you could go. Except GTA San Andreas took the steps they took forward in Vice City and went even further. Because in Vice City you still couldn't swim. Like, you hit water, you die instantly.
I think that's progress, as in you get better transport over water.
No, I mean literally. Like GTA Vice City still had that, like, still had the limitations of the first, like, overhead GTA games. You touch water, it's instant kill.
Not even a toe dip? Yuck.
No, like, because there were portions in Vice City where you'd have to, like, go near water, and if the water was deep enough, like, deeper than you, like, not super deep, but, like, deep enough to where your character went in, it's, like, instant, wipe out, you died. It's like, what the fuck? San Andreas got rid of that limitation. You could actually swim in the water and swim underwater and dive. It turned it into almost an RPG. You could, like, become physically stronger, and that would basically make you better in melee combat. You could get fat, so that would increase your HP, but everything else would go down.
Make you a bigger target.
Like, you could, well, I mean, not really a bigger target. It's just you couldn't move as fast. Like, if you had to jump a fence, it'd be really hard for your character. They'd be struggling to do it, You couldn't run as fast. It's like, you fat bastard. Run, you fat son of a bitch. You could make your character look any way you wanted. You could be a fat guy with an afro. You could make yourself into a cut, really muscular dude with like, with a highly detailed fade. Yeah, you could. I mean, GTA San Andreas is the first game that I ever played where I was like, this game isn't really limiting you. And this was, and mind you, this was on a 32-bit system. This was on the PlayStation. At the time, the best version of GTA San Andreas you get was on PC, and you had the whole debacle of the hot coffee mod. But
Enough said.
I mean, like, people were like, "Oh, this is terrible." I'm like, "Look, it's a game where you literally can give your girlfriend a dildo as a gift, and you go on a date, and you go back to their house, and you hear them fucking. So clearly,
somebody's having some fun.
I don't really consider that to be, oh my god, two people who are dating actually have sex. It would be odd if you played a game that's M-rated and they go on a date and they don't fuck. That'd be weird. So, people, but aside from that, I really liked GTA San Andreas. That game gave you a sense of freedom that, like, I have not, like, here's how much freedom San Andreas gave you. Rockstar has not made a GTA game that has equaled the amount of freedom that San Andreas gave you since. Go and play GTA 4 or GTA 5. None of those games have the same level of freedom that you had in GTA San Andreas.
Even with the water problems?
Even with the water problems. Well, GTA 4 took itself way too fucking serious.
Yeah. That is too true.
And GTA 5, I mean, I'm going to keep it real. GTA 5 is not terrible, but GTA 5 is still, despite all of the graphical fidelity and everything like that, it's still not as good a game as San Andreas. or Vice City. Because Vice City, for all its faults, had a distinct character, and the radio stations were awesome. In GTA Vice City. Same thing with GTA San Andreas. Like the music in those games are so good that I have the soundtrack for both of them, and they are great.